All right, so let's jump right into a really fascinating, almost paradoxical idea. What if the very act of trying to understand wholeness is the thing that actually shatters it? We're going to dive into a pretty powerful concept called primal meaning theory. And trust me, it's going to challenge just about everything you think you know about unity.
So first up, we're diving straight into what's called the wholeness paradox. This is really the central kind of mind-bending problem at the heart of all this.
So here's the big question that kicks everything off. Why is it that every time we try to describe wholeness, we just seem to break it? It's like the moment you put a word to it, the moment you try to pin it down, the unity just vanishes. It's so strange, right?
And this quote from our source material just hits the nail on the head. It says, "The very apparatus we employ to articulate unity becomes its betrayer." The author calls this an ontological tragedy, which is a fancy way of saying it's not just a small problem with language, it's way deeper. It's like trying to catch a water with a net. The very tool you're using, language, logic, thought itself, is designed to separate things apart. So it's no wonder it can't hold on to something that's supposed to be undivided.
And yeah, this goes way deeper than just words. It's about how our minds actually work. Thinking itself is a divisive act. The second your awareness lands on anything, it creates a boundary. There's me and not me. There's the cup and the table. Your brain is constantly carving up reality into little pieces just so it can make sense of it all. It's an incredible tool, but it's a tool of division. Okay, so what are the consequences of this paradox? Well, according to the source material, this isn't just some abstract philosophical problem. It's had very real, very damaging effects on the idea of holism itself. It basically broke it.
And you can see this whole process in what the source calls the degradation cascade. It's a timeline of how the idea fell apart. See, it starts out as this pure, intuitive feeling of unity, something ancient, something you feel, not something you think about. But then it gets turned into a theory. Boom, that's the first division. Then you get academics arguing about their competing theories of holism, which creates even more divisions. And the final nail on the coffin? The market gets a hold of it. Holistic becomes a brand, slapped on everything from dog food to yoga pants, until the word is just empty.
And that's the really tragic part. The word holistic was completely cut off from the actual experience of wholeness. It's just a ghost now, a word that points to something it no longer represents. So, if the original idea is broken, how do we fix it? Well, people have definitely tried. And now we're going to look at a really sophisticated, modern attempt to solve this problem and see why, according to our source, it's actually a very clever trap. This attempt comes from the philosopher Bernardo Kastrup, and his idea is called analytical idealism. Now, this is a huge claim. He's basically proposing that consciousness isn't just some byproduct of a material universe. He's saying consciousness is the fundamental reality. Everything is happening within consciousness. So let's look at how he gets there. Step 1. You observe that everything you experience, literally everything, is filtered through your consciousness. Makes sense. Step 2. From that, you conclude that consciousness must be the fundamental thing. Okay, still with him, but here's the catch. In step 3, he declares that matter is, and this is the key word, just an externalized form of consciousness. That little word just gives the whole game away. It's not a real unification. It's reductionism. It's like a hostile takeover where the mind category completely consumes the matter category. It's not a partnership, it's a conquest. And this table really lays the contradiction bare. Look at the method. It's analytical philosophy. Its whole job is to use logic, to create distinctions, to fragment things to understand them. But what's the goal? A state of non-dual unity, something completely undivided. You see the problem? The method is actively working against the goal. It's a total conflict. You just can't chop your way to wholeness. Okay, so if that's the trap, then what's the way out? Well, this is where we get to the really core idea of the source material. It's a completely different way of looking at this, and it's called primal meaning theory. So, let's put these two ideas side by side. Analytical idealism says everything is consciousness. It basically picks a winner and reduces everything to that one category. But primal meaning theory does something way more interesting. It takes a step back from the whole fight and asks a deeper question. Wait a minute, where do we even get these categories of mind and matter in the first place? It questions the very foundation of the debate. And this brings us right to the heart of primal meaning theory, or PMT. The idea is this. Beneath all our concepts, beneath words like mind and matter, there's something more fundamental. It's a pre-linguistic field of resonance. You can think of it like this originary pulse of sense-making. It's the raw stuff of meaning, happening before our minds jump in and start slapping labels on everything.
So what exactly is this resonance? Well, the best analogy is to think of two tuning forks. If you strike one, the other one starts to vibrate with it. Now, where is that resonance? It's not in the first fork, it's not in the second fork, it's happening in the space between them. And that's exactly what this is. It's not a thing you can point to, it's relational. It emerges in the encounter between you and the world. It's a process, not an object. And you can't break it down because the moment you try, it's gone. All right, so this is all pretty abstract, right? The big question is, so what? How does this actually apply to us? Well, this last part is all about bringing this theory down to earth and turning it into something we can actually use, a real shift in our own awareness. And here's the big payoff. According to PMT, we've been thinking about holism all wrong. It's not a theory you're supposed to believe in. It's not another box for your brain. Instead, it's a mode of awareness you can cultivate. It's about flipping the script. Instead of trying to build unity out of pieces, you start by recognizing that unity is the default state, and it's our thinking that comes along later and creates all the divisions. And this final quote just brings it all home so perfectly. The explanation itself dissolves back into the resonance. I mean, think about that. Even this whole explainer, all these words and concepts, they're just signposts. They're pointing at something that's ultimately beyond words. Once you get a feel for it, the signposts themselves aren't the important thing anymore.
So it all comes down to this, a final and really profound instruction. This isn't about achieving some enlightened state or anything like that. It's actually a very simple practice. Just notice. Notice when your thought creates a division. And then, just for a second, get curious about what was there right before the division happened. What's in that little gap? Because according to this whole idea, that quiet space, well, that's all. And that's everything.